Is Moonshiners fake? Plus, how do Moonshiners not get arrested? The show Moonshiners, which first aired on the Discovery Channel in 2011, brings viewers deep into the Appalachian Hills where individuals craft illegal moonshine, a potent, unlicensed alcoholic beverage. It's a captivating look at an age-old tradition, one that has both a storied history and a present-day appeal, thanks to its role in the rural, underground economy. But while the show is undoubtedly popular, the question on many people's minds is Moonshiners fake? Before diving into the heart of this question, it's essential to understand a bit about the moonshine industry, its clandestine nature, and the inherent risks of producing alcohol without the proper licenses. Then we'll explore whether the show reflects the reality of moonshining or if it's more fiction than fact. We'll also discuss how moonshiners, whether on TV or in real life, manage to evade the long arm of the law, even in an era where law enforcement is increasingly sophisticated and vigilant. The history and appeal of moonshining has been around for centuries. Its roots trace back to colonial America, when British taxation on liquor drove early settlers to find ways of producing their own alcohol without government interference. In the 19th century, when the federal government passed the first federal excise tax on liquor, moonshining became even more prevalent as a means to circumvent the law. The famous Prohibition era of the 1920s only solidified moonshine's reputation as a symbol of defiance and resistance to government control. Fast forward to the present, and while Prohibition is long over, the spirit of rebellion associated with moonshining still carries weight. Moonshine is often seen as a badge of honor for those who refuse to conform to modern societal norms. This underground industry thrives in places like Appalachia, where residents take pride in their deep knowledge of local traditions, self-sufficiency, and distrust of government institutions. It's in this world that Moonshiners finds its roots. The show follows a group of individuals who continue this tradition of illegal distillation in the forests of Appalachia, creating white lightning in homemade stills. For many viewers, this depiction of rugged, independent people continues to spark curiosity about the moonshining process and the individuals who risk their freedom to maintain it. Is Moonshiners fake? There is a constant debate surrounding the authenticity of Moonshiners. Like many reality TV shows, Moonshiners is produced with a certain amount of direction and theatricality, leading many to question how real the show actually is. Is what we're watching a true depiction of the moonshining world, or is it a scripted drama meant to entertain? There are several key aspects of the show that suggest it's not 100% real. One of the primary issues is that moonshining itself, in the illegal sense, is fraught with risk, and people who engage in it do so with the knowledge that the law could catch up to them at any moment. Because of this, it's highly unlikely that individuals who are truly involved in illicit moonshining would willingly expose themselves to television cameras and the public eye. Several former moonshiners have claimed that the moonshine shown on Moonshiners is not real or is heavily staged. In fact, some of the cast members, including Tim Smith, one of the show's most prominent figures, have been open about the fact that the alcohol they're distilling for TV purposes isn't necessarily moonshine in the illegal sense. Tim Smith has even acknowledged that, while he does have experience with moonshining, he's also involved in legal distillation through his business ventures, selling products to consumers legally. In fact, Moonshiners has come under scrutiny from the U.S. government. In 2013, the U.S. Department of Justice filed a lawsuit against the show's producers, alleging that they were depicting illegal moonshining in a manner that could mislead viewers. The lawsuit was settled, and the producers agreed to add a disclaimer stating that the show's portrayal of moonshine production was for entertainment purposes, not an accurate reflection of illegal activity. This move made it clear that while some aspects of the show may be based on real-life moonshiners, the portrayal was, in large part, dramatized. Moreover, the process of making moonshine, especially without proper permits and licenses, is dangerous and illegal. If the people involved in the show were truly making moonshine for sale or distribution, it would be incredibly risky to show their faces on national television. This doesn't even account for the other illegal aspects of the business, like transporting, selling, and storing moonshine. As a result, many believe that much of what's shown is heavily scripted or embellished for entertainment value. In conclusion, Moonshiners is not entirely the truth. The show likely contains elements of real moonshining traditions, but it is, in large part, produced for drama and excitement, rather than as an accurate documentary about the underground alcohol trade. How do moonshiners not get arrested? Now that we've addressed the question of whether Moonshiners is fake, let's explore the more practical side of moonshining. How do moonshiners evade arrest? After all, producing illegal alcohol is a serious crime that can lead to hefty fines, jail time, and even the destruction of property. The answer isn't simple, but several factors help moonshiners stay one step ahead of law enforcement. Remote locations and secrecy. The majority of moonshiners produce their product in remote, hard-to-reach locations, far from prying eyes. Appalachian Hills and backwoods areas are prime locations for moonshine production because they're both isolated and difficult for law enforcement to patrol effectively. Many moonshiners operate in the cover of darkness, choosing to work under the cover of night to reduce the risk of detection. The secrecy surrounding the operation is key. Moonshiners rarely advertise their business, and it's passed along through tight-knit, trusted networks. The fewer people who know about the operation, the lower the chance of being caught. Lack of direct selling. Moonshiners rarely, if ever, sell their moonshine directly to the public in an obvious way. They typically deal through intermediaries, such as runners or trusted buyers, who move the product along to other locations where it can be consumed or sold. This method helps shield the actual moonshiner from being caught in the act of illegal trade. The product is distributed quietly and often in small quantities, reducing suspicion and making it harder for law enforcement to track the transactions. Limited law enforcement resources. Although moonshine production is illegal, law enforcement agencies do not always have the time, resources, or manpower to target every moonshiner. The federal government focuses much of its attention on large-scale illegal distilleries that threaten public safety, such as those producing illicit substances or distributing in larger quantities. Small-time moonshiners, especially in remote areas, are less likely to draw the attention of law enforcement. While the authorities still crack down on moonshining, there are often more pressing issues that take precedence. Government crackdowns and legal changes. That said, government crackdowns on illegal moonshine operations still happen. In the past few years, law enforcement agencies have become increasingly sophisticated in detecting moonshiners. Modern technology, including surveillance drones and infrared technology, has made it harder for moonshiners to hide their stills. Additionally, with changes in laws and enforcement tactics, moonshiners are forced to adapt in order to evade detection. It's worth noting, however, that many individuals who engage in moonshining are simply looking to make a living or maintain a tradition, and while illegal, they often work hard to avoid detection by sticking to the margins of society and avoiding the attention of authorities. Conclusion: Moonshiners presents a dramatic portrayal of moonshine production, but it is not an entirely accurate reflection of real-life illegal moonshining. While the show's depiction of mountain folk making moonshine does stem from some real-world traditions, much of what's shown is staged or scripted for television entertainment. As to the question of how Moonshiners manage to evade the authorities, it boils down to a combination of secrecy, remoteness, and the limitations of law enforcement resources. Despite the risks, many moonshiners still manage to operate without getting caught, relying on well-established techniques and deep knowledge of their local terrain. Whether or not Moonshiners is fake, the underground world of moonshining continues to intrigue, with a blend of myth, reality, and rebellious spirit.